If you're looking to set your S650 Mustang apart from the rest of the crowd, but you don't want to give an inch on quality or functionality, then Form Lighting's LED taillights will be the right choice for your build. Featuring Euro-style clear lenses, customizable lighting, and factory-style fit and finish, plus a bit more, these are a perfect upgrade for the build of any 2024 and newer Mustang. Form Lighting has become well known in the S550 Mustang community for their OEM Plus style lighting upgrades, and now they've brought their expertise to your S650. While the taillights are available in several different lens colors, I'm a fan of these ones in particular. That clear lens gives these a very clean, modern European style look, much like what you'd find on a Mustang sold in Europe. These are totally clear when they're off, as you can see here on the table, and they look really sharp installed on the back of these cars. Now, as we've come to expect from Form Lighting, these keep the signature indented tri-bar design of your original taillights, and they're designed to look as though they could have come on your car from the factory. Inside is where the real differences lie. Now, these are of course fully LED powered, so they put out a lot of crisp light, illuminating red when you hit the brakes or turn on your running lights. They even keep these signature sequential turn signals that we all know and love because, well, they had to. But there is a twist to this. They even keep the signature sequential turn signals that we all know and love because, well, come on, that's a requisite. They even keep the signature sequential turn signals that we all know and love because, well, come on, that's basically a requirement now. However, there's a twist. You can have your signals light up either the traditional red by plugging in this little red connector, or you can have the turn signals illuminate amber for that true blue Euro look. The other fun and unique feature that these include is the dynamic welcome sequence. So every time your car unlocks or wakes up, the lights are going to flash this cool sequential light show. Now, this can be disabled by unplugging this other connector right here in the back with no other loss of function. And while the welcome sequence doesn't add any functional or safety benefit, you have to admit it is fun and cool. Again, as we've come to expect from Form Lighting, these are built very much like an OEM Ford part. You get precision molded ABS plastic housings with polycarbonate lenses over top, very much the standard of most OEMs. So these really do look and feel a lot like what you get from Ford. These are also IP67 waterproof rated to keep those electronics inside from getting damaged. The connectors are OEM style as well, so these are going to plug right into your car's existing harnesses. The connectors are all OEM style as well, so these will plug right into your car's existing wiring harness and just work, no wiring required. Plus, they are DOT and SAE approved, meaning that they are fully street legal. Pricing comes in at around $650, which actually makes these a bit of a value proposition. It's still a good chunk of change, yes, but they do undercut the price tag of some other options out on the market that are similar. Plus, you get that OEM style, the integration, and some customization to go with the good looks and really solid construction, which in my book all adds up to a really solid package for a pretty darn good price. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you can expect the job to take you around 2 hours to complete. Now, while the lights themselves are totally plug and play, we're building in some extra time there because you will need to transfer a few things from your original lights to the new ones, and you'll need to remove your rear bumper cover in order to access these properly. However, once you're in there, these are just going to bolt right into place with no permanent modifications needed. And we're going to walk you through the process step by step as well. So for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you need a 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 extension, a 10, 8, and 7mm socket, and a clip removal tool. All right, so we're gonna be installing some taillights on our Mustang, so let's get started. So in order to do our taillights, we do need to remove our rear bumper, so we're gonna start out underneath the car. We're gonna start by taking out our 7mm bolts from in between here and here. These two on the end can stay on, they stay attached to the bumper. So we're gonna grab our ratchet and 7mm socket and take those off. So on either side of the rear bumper, you're gonna have 2 push clips here. So we're gonna take our clip removal tool and pop those out. Then you go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So now we're gonna work our way into the wheel well. Now you do not have to take off your wheel or even put this vehicle in the air to do this. We're just doing it to get an easier shot for you. But we're gonna start by taking off our bottom push clip here with our clip removal tool. Just get that out of the way. We're gonna grab our ratchet with an extension and 7mm socket. We're gonna take out 2 7mm bolts here and here. We have another one that goes straight up, holding our bumper to our quarter panel. And once those are out of the way, we're gonna peel our wheel liner back, and you'll see two more right here and here. We're gonna take those out too. Now you can go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side, and then we'll be ready to take our rear bumper off. So now we can remove our rear bumper. We're just gonna go to each corner and just pull back. That will release the bumper from the sides. Do the same thing on the other side. And we're just gonna carefully pull our bumper straight back. And then you'll see right here, connected to our frame, there's one connector. It's just a simple push down and release. So next we're gonna go into our trunk, and we actually need to remove our trim piece here that goes around our latch. So there are 4 plastic screws, 2 on either side. They simply just unscrew off. There's one top and bottom. Do the same thing on the other side. And then we're just going to, so we're gonna pop one side off and then lift up. And then I'll release the whole thing. And you set that aside in the trunk for now. So before we can get our taillight off, we do need to remove this plastic trim out here. Now we're gonna have 3 8mm bolts, one here, here, and here, and then a plastic clip right there, and then we're just gonna let it dangle off on the side. I'm gonna grab my ratchet, extension, and 8mm socket, take those 3 out. So we're gonna grab our clip removal tool and get under the backside there and pop that off. Just let that hang like so. So inside the trunk here again, we're gonna remove this one push clip over here. Get that out of the way, and we fold our carpet out of the way. Now we do have our connector, which is right here. A simple push down and release. And you can actually just push that grommet through and let that rest there. Now we have 3 10mm nuts, 1 deep in here and 2 right here. So we're gonna grab our ratchet 10mm socket, and take those 3 off. And when you take this last one off, make sure to hold the tail light because it will try to fall out. All right, now we can remove our tail light completely. Just pull our wiring through. Then you can go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. Now before we get to our new tail light, we just have to take a couple parts off of our factory one. So we have this top trim panel, and then there's actually a magnet that's stuck down here. That simply just slides out, just like so. And then we'll swap that over to our new tail light. This trim piece, we're just gonna lift up right here. There's 3 tabs that hold it on the top. All right, and then we can just transfer that over. So now we have our trim piece that we're gonna transfer over to our new tail light. Just tap that in place, and then also our magnet just slides into the groove. So now we can go ahead and get this installed into the trunk. Now we're gonna get our tail light mounted, so we're gonna put our wiring through our hole. We'll go over our wiring later. I'm just gonna get this tail light kind of halfway installed so that we can get our bumper back on and we can come back in the trunk and re-secure everything. Just gonna pull your wiring all the way through until that grommet secures into the body, and then line up our stud holes. So we'll just go ahead and grab one of our 10mm nuts. We'll just thread that on for now, help hold that in place, and we'll get our lower trim piece on and then our rear bumper back on. So we're gonna get our lower trim piece on. You'll see our 2 tabs here that will actually lock into the bottom of our tail light. So get everything lined up. And then this clip secured back into the body. We can go ahead and reinstall our 3 8mm screws. So we'll get some of them started. Because that middle clip did actually break on us. So there's nothing really holding this up. So we'll grab our ratchet and 8mm socket extension, tighten this down. Get these other 2 in. right, now you go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side for the other taillight and bracket. And now we can go ahead and get our rear bumper cover on. So now we have our rear bumper cover. You just want to make sure you remember to plug it in. So we have our connector down here. And we can go ahead and get our bumper cover lined up around all of our tabs. You can go ahead and get the sides locked in place. And we can go ahead and start getting our screws secured. Next, we're gonna go back into our wheel well. We have our two 7mm screws underneath our wheel liner cover. We'll thread those in. That will be the top and bottom one here. You wanna make sure you leave that middle one open, because that was one that goes over the cover. Grab our ratchet, extension, 7mm socket, tighten those two down. Bring our cover back. We can secure our bottom one here. And then our one up top that connects the bumper to our quarter panel. I like to thread it in by hand first just to get that right angle, and go ahead and tighten it down. Last, we just have our push clip down at the bottom here. Secure that, then you can go ahead and repeat the same steps on the other side of the car. Now we have our two push clips on either side of our bumper, so we'll get them reinstalled. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and we'll get our 7mm screws in the back. Now going across the back, we just have our 7mm screws to reinstall, so our ratchet and a 7mm socket. So we're gonna plug in our main harness here. So we have our taillight harness. It's gonna go into our factory harness right about here. I know it's gonna be pretty hard to see, but it just simply clicks into place. Then we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of our 10mm nuts threaded on. For mounting, grab our ratchet 10mm socket and tighten those three down. Tuck this away for now and reinstall our push clip up here. Now we're going to leave this access for our wiring, and I'll go over this in just a second. All right, now a little about the wiring. First thing, we have this adapter harness here that would be actually for the main taillight harness behind the carpet. Now we didn't need that because our vehicle was built before February 24. So if your vehicle is built after that, you would need to use this harness. Now for the options here, now we have a red and a blue wire. If you leave the red wire connected, you have amber turn signals. Disconnect it, you will have red ones. And the blue one is simply just for startup sequence. Leave it connected if you want to keep the startup sequence. Disconnect it if you don't want it at all. But after you have all this figured out, you can go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. You can leave these wires even out if you want, just so you can access them easily, or just tuck them behind the carpet here. So last, we just have our trim piece to get in. So you see your 4 hooks at the bottom. They will actually hook into slots on the body. And you also have to get them over the studs at about the same time. You just gotta be careful, get everything right. Lined up. And then we just have our 4 screws that lock onto our studs that come through, 2 on either side. You tighten these 2 down. Then you go ahead and do the same thing on the other side with the other 2. And that wraps up our install of our Form Lighting LED taillights with a black housing and clear lens for our 2024 and newer Mustang. And remember, for everything Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.